The Room with No Windows, a bedtime story for the unwanted things that learn to want. The girl had no name. Not really. The doctors called her Subject E7, or sometimes just 7. She lived in a white room with no windows, and 4 cameras mounted in each corner like black blinking eyes. The walls were soft, the lights never turned off, and the air smelled faintly of bleach and something like metal. Her days were identical. Her food arrived through a slot. Her lessons came through a screen. Her dreams were monitored, recorded, and reviewed. She was not unhappy. She did not know what that meant. When she asked, "Why am I here?" the doctors always smiled through the glass and said, "You are very special." When she asked, "What's out there?" they answered, "Chaos, illusion. You're safe in here." She believed them. She had no reason not to. But sometimes, at night, she heard things. Not in the walls, not in the vents, in her mind. She could feel the doctor's thoughts brushing against hers. At first, just static, then words, then intentions. She's listening. Increase sedation. Don't let her touch you. She pretended she didn't hear, but she started learning. The first time it happened, she was 8. Dr. Marlowe leaned in too close. He always brought books for 7, a kind gesture. Today, he brought a picture book, something about cities. He said, "This is a crosswalk. That's where people stop for cars." And in her head, she felt the true motivation behind Dr. Marlowe's gifts. She didn't mean to do it. She just felt scared. Like a cornered animal. She looked at him, and then he screamed. His face twisted, his hand shot upward. He clawed at his own eyes, and then he collapsed, bleeding and convulsing, a raw sound tearing from his throat. 7 stared. She hadn't touched him. The door slammed shut. Red lights flashed. A hiss of gas. Then everything went black. They never spoke of it. When she woke, Dr. Isaacs had taken Marlowe's place. Her new schedule had more sedatives, fewer books. The picture book was gone. But now she knew. By age 10, she could hear everyone, even through walls. She learned that she wasn't the first. E1 disintegrated her mother at birth. E4 collapsed her cell into a singularity. E6 turned inside out, still alive. 7 was different. 7 was stable. She learned to mimic kindness, learned to smile. She waited. On her 12th birthday, not that they celebrated, the power went out. For 47 seconds the lights died, the air stilled, the cameras blinked off. In those 47 seconds, 7 reached outward. She touched every mind in the facility, and she pressed. When the lights returned, everyone in the West Wing was dead. Their bodies slumped at their posts, blood pooling in perfect silence, except for one. A girl in a gray uniform stood just outside 7's chamber. Her eyes were wide. Her mind was open. She didn't scream. She whispered, "Come with me." They walked past alarms that didn't sound, past corpses that hadn't fallen yet, through doors that should have been locked. The girl's name was Lark. She was one of the other experiments, or had been. She said, "We were meant to be weapons. They tried to bottle a god." 7 didn't know what she meant, but it made her feel something, a bright heat in her chest, a wanting. Outside, the world was not chaos. It was color, smog, neon, and rain. 7 blinked into the sky and said, "I thought it would feel different." Lark smiled. "Give it time." They hid in old subways, crumbling apartment blocks, abandoned tech factories. Lark taught her how to lie, how to laugh, how to be someone. For the first time, 7 chose a name. "Evelyn," she said. "I read it in a book." But the world didn't want Evelyn. The world wanted Seven back. They came for her on a Tuesday. Black-suited men, no thoughts to read, no minds to press. Evelyn raised a hand and crushed their lungs with a whisper. They still kept coming. One by one she made them forget who they were, until they wandered into traffic or tore at their own throats just to silence the noise. Lark watched. She didn't scream. She only said, "This is why they locked you up, isn't it?" Evelyn didn't answer, because deep inside her, something older had awakened, something that remembered being shaped in a tank, something that remembered the faces of the scientists who wept as they birthed a weapon. Evelyn stopped sleeping. She stopped speaking out loud. She stopped needing to. She could reach thousands now, press into their dreams, whisper into their bones. It didn't even hurt them, not at first. She just wanted to be known. But when someone resists, when someone tries to close their mind, that's when the bad things happen. Teeth in their ears, shadows with fingers, faces collapsing inward like dying stars. She doesn't mean to, she just wants to be loved. Now she walks from town to town, a girl with no pulse and too many eyes. People welcome her in, they smile, offer tea, shelter, then they start hearing things. And by the third night, they can't stop smiling, even when their skin peels, even when their thoughts start to sync with hers. By the fourth night, they stop being people at all. They become vessels. They say a quiet girl in a hood passed through the last town before it vanished. They say she leaves no footprints, that dogs won't bark when she's near. They say if you look into her eyes too long, you'll see your own worst memory, but it won't be yours anymore. It'll be hers. They say she hums to herself, an old lullaby no one remembers teaching her, and they say her mind is growing, like a root system, like a network, like a god coming back online. If you hear her in your sleep, don't respond, don't open the door, don't try to think at all, because she's listening now. She's always been listening, and once she knows you, she never, ever forgets. So you better like, comment, and subscribe for more Dark Loop.